Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media, and it is time for me to make the spine for this. It's not what I want to be doing, but I really want this journal to be done, so you know, there's that. Yeah, I need that, and I'm gonna need that, and because some of you might wonder, well, how are you gonna bind your book? You just have two pieces of cardboard. You know, I think it's from something similar to this, which is just the backing of a notepad. And you know, it's not an already made journal. I have to actually make it myself. And if I had been smart, I would have made it at the same time as this so that it would match, but it's not going to match, but that's okay because I think I'm going to cover it with leather, so it won't really matter. And I think that I'm going to cut it. I need a bigger, I have a bigger one. I need a bigger one. I need a bigger cutting mat. That's just the little one for I just need to cut out little things. This is a bigger one for when I need to cut bigger things. That would have been smarter. So I just want to cut, I think I just want 1 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, but I definitely don't need more than 1 inch. So I'm going to line that up with that line and line this up with this line, and that way I don't have to draw any lines or anything, and I'm not pressing hard. I'm just gonna keep going until it goes all the way through, because if you press hard, you are more likely to hurt yourself. Now if you have one of those cutters that cuts through really thick stuff, well, then you're in luck. You can cut with that. I'm going to turn it over and hopefully get it in the same exact place. But like I said, I'm covering it, so I'm not too concerned about how perfect I get it. But by lining it up on the board, then I don't have to worry about, you know, drawing a line on both sides or anything like that. So there we go. It's not perfect, and that's okay. I'm going to grab my bookbinding tape. Oh, also we need to get the height, don't we? So we do want it the same height, which probably help if I do it on the straight line so I can get it all straight, right? Okay, line it up with the book, line it up with the line it up with all the things. It's a much shorter cut. Should be able to go a little faster. I know, just watching somebody cut, you just be careful. There you go. So it's the tiniest bit taller. It's all right. I'll take a tiny bit off of this end because it's a little bit bent there anyway. But I only need like a tiny bit off. And I can tell that wasn't perfectly straight, but it's going to get covered, so we're not going to worry too much about it. This is the front of my cover, which I think I said yesterday I needed to tighten these a little bit better because the paper was catching on them. That's all. I can see where they're kind of sticking up, but I want to be careful not to press too hard because I don't want to like squish the bejesus out of that side. But when I do these are the Tim Holtz ones. I like the Tim Holtz ones. They can go on any width thing you've got. They're not predetermined on the thickness of your thing. All right, so this is going to be the back, so I need to make sure this is face up. Oh, I'm going to keep this out for lining things up. This is my front, so it's going to go like this. So I should be seeing the back side of my corners towards me. Otherwise, I've made a mistake. Also, let's put that back. We don't need that well, I don't think we need. Actually, it probably would be easier to cut my tape like that. All right, let's stick this in the middle. Line it up on that bottom line. Line these up on this bottom line and this one, and we're going to give it just a little bit of space. It needs space. It's like a woman. It needs a little space. Don't crowd it. And how are we on width? I think this will be okay because I think I can find a piece of, and I'm just going to use this. You can use Tyvek. You could probably even use duct tape. You can use, this tape is super sticky, so you don't want to use your good scissors. Once you get it cut, you can cut the rest of the way. And I'll probably use my slicer. Let's see, we do want it straight. All right, we're gonna go that dot and that dot right there. Because if I'm gonna go over further on one side, I would rather it go over further on the back side. Ugh. All right, and then I'm just gonna fold that over there and fold that over there. And I'm gonna do another piece on this side, which will be a little bit shorter so that I don't go over the edge. Right there, just about. And it's likely to get covered, so I'm not worried about perfection. And also I'm not worried about lining it up totally with that, because I have less on the front on this side, so I want it to be, it barely goes over on here, so I wanted a little bit more coverage on that side. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't worry about adding glue to this because this tape is really sticky. I do worry that I should have gone over a little bit more on that, but it should be fine. And I'm just taking my bone folder to get that pushed in there, and hopefully will stick to stick. The stickiness will stick to itself forever and ever, amen. And it should fold. I might have needed a little bit more space in the middle, but that's okay. We just force it. We're going to end up with some bends. But like I said, I'm covering it, so I'm not overly concerned. Oh, that's over on the front more than I realized. That's weird. Yep, it's all bent up. I could lift that and fix it, but I don't want to. Like I said, I'm going to be covering it. Yep, now it folds really well. And I put the pretty piece. Oh, yeah, I see what I did. I put the pretty, yeah, that's why. So, it's all right. We're just going to put a piece of leather over here. It's going to be big enough. I wonder if I put my leather away. I think I'm going to do a hidden... No, I'm going to go ahead and sew these in, and I'll show you how I do a template for that. I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock, or I should have just like a piece of cardstock in here that's, or a piece of paper or something that's heavy enough to work with, but not precious. Oh, I've got envelopes in here. That's good to know. Okay, this is already, I thought I was going to find something like super fast. I didn't. Yeah, this is fine. It can be paper. It doesn't have to be cardstock. It just has to be tall enough. And I just need it 1 inch, right? So I already know that my spine is 1 inch. And so there's that. I don't know where my other ruler went. My ruler, see, my ruler that cuts better. That's what I wanted, but that's not it. So let's find one of these, because we have enough. Why is it hard to find one? So now we are going to precisely measure this for I have 5 signatures. They're small signatures. They're not going to have like many pockets and whatnot in it. So that's why I'm able to do a 1 inch spine, even though I have 5 signatures. I'm going to fold this in half this way. Okay. And then I need 2 over here. So usually 3 is the easiest one. So somehow, let's see, I need to come in like 1/3 of the way to the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then 1/3 of the way. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to fold this 1/3 of the way. These are going to be close together. But like I said, they're like 6-page signatures. They're not very large. And then I'm going to fold it in thirds like this. It's a lot easier when it's just 3 signatures, because then you just fold it to the middle. But by folding it in thirds, I get it fairly even. And the spine's not going to show, so I just need my book to sit, my, you know, signatures to sit in there easily. A signature, if you are new, is just the grouping of pages. So now I have my 5 lines going across, and now I'm going to want to do 5 lines this way. So I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it about 1/3 of the way down. Wait, no, I need, that's 1, and I need like about there and there. So yeah, about 1/3 of the way down and about 1/3 of the way up. It doesn't have to be perfectly spaced. So let's see if I like that. I mean, like I said, all right. So now I have my 5 lines. They are not perfectly spaced. I'm okay with that. So you might want to just come through and put little dots on all your intersections. Or you can put an X or whatever, and just, or plus sign, or I don't know. I just do this. Or I don't, because sometimes I don't. It depends on how well I can see the intersections, because when I'm done putting holes in the spine, I will have holes for the pages. All right, and now you want to mark the top so that when you do your pages, because even though I folded it, it still might not be perfect. That's the top. So I am going to, I have a lot, turn it over so I can see the dang holes I just made. I have a lot of holes to do is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to actually washi tape this down. I wouldn't normally, but since I have like 25 holes and I don't want this to move, I am going to, and I'm centering it, which is what I'll also do when I do the pages. So yeah, just gonna put that. I also want it to be straight on this. There. So now it should stay. And then I just take an old book. That's not very important. And I grab my book. Grab a longer piece of tape. Grab my bookbinding bag, which I got for free because I won something from a Pampered Chef, not 31, whatever, online 31, not class, what are they called? Party? I don't think, I might have bought something. I can't remember if I bought something or not. What I used to always buy from them, not always, but you know, when they had them, what I liked from 31 is they had these about that size insulated bags, which were perfect for like keeping Nathan's insulin and stuff in, especially when, you know, he had to be out and about more often than now he's home all the time. And, you know, kept his insulin at least not from getting too hot, you know, especially in the summer. But they don't have those anymore, not the small ones anyway. And they were like the perfect size to fit the insulin needles in. There's like these, we have these pen needles that they're like all pre-filled with like 300 milliliters of insulin. For those that are new, my son is 23 and he has had type 1 diabetes since he was 5 and Addison's disease since he was 18. That's a rare disease. So and he also has Hashimoto's thyroiditis, because if you have one autoimmune disease, you are more likely to have more than one. So his pediatric endocrinologist would just check for antibodies. And that's how she found out that he had Addison's disease at 18. She was not expecting Addison's disease. Obviously, she didn't notice the dark spots under his eyes, because that's one of the signs of low cortisol. And that's what Addison's disease is, cortisol, adrenal insufficiency. So basically your body doesn't make cortisol. You need cortisol. Cortisol is what your body spits out when stress hits. So if you have stress and no cortisol, you will die. In fact, some people that have Addison's disease, if they stop taking their meds, one person I heard of, he was dead within 3 days. So So yes, my son has to take medicines to keep himself alive. So now I'm just going in on the other side. Sorry to bring y'all down. He's fine. We manage it, and you know, he's 23, living his best life, not working. He's not on disability or anything, but he chooses not to drive. He's on the spectrum too, so I don't know. He wants a job. He wants to be able to do something. He just doesn't know what he wants to do. And if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. So basically, he needs to find something that he will want to do. That's part of the spectrum, part of it, I think. The neurodivergency of it. But he just doesn't know what. I mean, he has some ideas. He just doesn't know how to go about it. I told him, you just need to look. But he also has that executive function disorder like his mother. So that kind of stuff doesn't happen easy. All right. Stop talking about my problems. I guess that's what's on my mind today. Although I am praying for my husband because he's meeting with his boss about his review. So hopefully that, we're just going to fold these over so that we don't just rip the whole. Hey, it'll strengthen it. That's what we're going for. We're just going to say it will strengthen it. That goes over a little too far. I know, you don't have to watch this. I should just pause for a minute. I have the ability because I don't have an iPhone. In case you're wondering why people recording sometimes don't pause when you're like, you know, you could pause for this. If they're using an iPhone, then no, they can't. So, all right, I'm going to put top on this side. Well, it doesn't matter now. It's got holes, but... All right, so my cover has the holes. Now I need to get my signatures. They're all over the place because I added some splatters, some white splatter and some brown-black splatter. So I have to put this all back together, but in case you want to just see them. And I added that little bit of sienna, just sienna. No, sepia. Oh, words are hard. I added a little bit of sepia, which is also what's on the cover, and I added these little green flourishes because I like flourishes, and I think flourishes are a little bit calming. This one doesn't have either because it was in the inside. I only did the outside ones, the ones that were on the outside of the signature, but who knows where they'll end up now. But that's okay. They don't all have to have it. I just wanted some of them to have it so they look like they were meant to be part of one thing. And then I needed just a few extra pieces. Oh, these are still wet. I need to dry them. So I took some coloring page, and they're thick coloring pages, and dyed them. I need to dry them so I can put them in the journal. So these will be, I just needed a few extra pages to make everything even because that's how I do it. Just cut them down so they're not quite as wide, but they'll add a little color. So it was from one of these Joanna Basford books, which are like nice strong pages, and are really fun dyed, you know. All right, I'll be back after I get all these together and dry those. So the next thing I do is I get all my signatures together. I've just clipped these with one big clip. Get them down in there as far as you can. And center this. I already know this is the top. Just make sure this is centered and that you do it the same centering on each one. And I just use the middle holes on all of them. I realize that may have things be off slightly on the other ones, but I'm okay with that. It's just easier to just fold that in half rather than try to fold it in all the different directions. And it's not going to make that much of a difference. It's still going to be able to sit fine in the journal. So you just want to make sure that you have this somewhat folded up so that when you go through, it's going through to the spine and not off to the side. Whoops, that one went off to the side. So sometimes also I will fold it like this and do it out like that. And oh, that's why, because that didn't go in the center. So this is another way that I would do it, is I would just you know, fold it in half and do it like that. So I'm going to do that with all of these. This is the top, that's the top. Fold this in half. Now, if you were worried about this moving while it's in there, you could just even just mark it with a pen through the holes. But I just try to make sure it stays lined up. I usually start with the middle one and go out from there, and just I'm holding it with my thumb. You could paper clip it on there if you're not, I was going to say if you're not as coordinated as me, which is kind of funny because I'm not really all that coordinated. You want to make sure your needle's going straight when you go through this way. You don't want to go at an angle. You do want to go straight. So I will finish these and be right back. All right, and you're probably going to want to have some pliers on hand just in case. And I am just going to start with the front one. Front or back, it doesn't really matter because you turn your book whichever way you need it to go. But I do believe that you want to start in the front or the back. I don't know that the middle is going to make it very easy. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Someday I might. Anyway, I'm just going to come in through the bottom one. I don't think I'm going to do because the spine's going to be hidden and glued in. Oh, and also I measured the string to be 2.5 to 3 times the length. All right, see. Here's the problem. My holes are smaller than my needle. Whoops. And then sometimes you may lose your string may come out of your needle. This is just linen thread bookbinding. Usually I will wax it, but I forgot to do that today. So there's that. All right, and then I'm going to go back through. And this isn't really the official 5-hole pamphlet stitch because I'm just not doing it. I mean, it kind of is, except for I'm just not going to end in the middle where most people would end in the middle. And I usually give myself three times the length because it just gives me a little bit more. Sometimes it doesn't come back out through the middle. So then you take your little thing and poke it through and then just follow the needle back through, and that usually does it. So back out through here, back through that hole. Usually this first, well, actually they all I need extra room because I need to be able to see what I'm doing like all the time. And oh my goodness, push it against the book sometimes helps. It doesn't help that it's now got sticky stuff from the tape. So that's what will happen if you use the tape. If you use glue and Tyvek or glue and fabric, you might not have that much of a problem. Also, you can make the hole a little bit bigger with, especially if you don't hide it, with your all. Oh, this isn't all. All of you wants all of me. All right, back through here. I can see that I've got quite a bit of goop on there. Let's see, am I going to be able to go through the first try? Open it up. Nope, not. So instead of fighting with it, I'm just going to do that. And coming back down through is going to be a little bit harder because you got to make sure that you don't split your thread. Did not split the thread on that one, thankfully. Make sure this thread down at the bottom stays through. So now I'm just going back down through where I just came up through. And if I lift this up a little bit, all right, it moves, so I did not split the thread. You don't want to have your needle go through the thread. That's the thing. And yes, sometimes it really is this tedious. I've seen other people just whiz through this. I'm not one of those people. Especially if, 3 is faster, just, so you know. That one did not split it, so we're good. Don't lose the thread. So now I can start pulling these down a little bit. That should be pulling down. It's not. Where's that piece? Something happened. Oh, there it goes. It's like, why is that not pulling through? That should be pulling through. Okay. Then we're going back through here, which now my hole's a little bigger. That's not so great. And back through that hole. And before you go, crumbs. You also want to make sure your thread is still in your, this is why I don't like to do this on camera. It just never goes smoothly. And then I'm just going to double check this right here. Like it's moving. Okay, so I did not split the thread. Woohoo! And then I'm going to keep my needle on there for a second just because I don't need to keep it through there. So I'm going to pull this one up through here just for that, and then pull it taut. Make sure it's, see, that's loose. That's not good. So just remember, this connects to the opposite, you know, every other one. So when you're doing, oh, and you want to go opposite. There we go. And check the inside, make sure that it's taut. I usually will take that off just so that I can make sure. All right, and tie it 2 times, 3 times. Whoops, come the opposite direction here, whatever. I usually will do 3 times, although it's all gonna get glued down, so I shouldn't have to worry about it too much. But I will probably do it 3 because, you know, extra precautions. Some people will double this thread. This thread, I feel pretty confident about it. I have tugged and tugged and tugged and not had a problem with it. Now, the next one, I'm going to start at the top just so that all of my knots are, that way I don't have like a big line from the knots. It'll just be a little bit nicer, I think. I don't know. I've never done it with leather. So that's the front. That better be the front. Yeah, that's the front. So I'm going to keep going, make sure that my top stays my top, and just keep sewing those in. And I'll be back because that was hard enough the first time. Okay, I was going to put a piece of fabric in here to cover this and I forgot, but I'm not going to worry about it. I've got all my signatures in. It sits, you know, nicely, so I think I did well. I might put 1 or 2 tags or pockets in there, but not much because she asked for a writing journal. And I am just going to go grab my piece of leather that I've got. I'm going to open this up to the middle so I can lay it out flat. And I am going to cover the outside, which will cover all this. The glue will help hold these tied and everything, although they are triple tied. And yeah, I'll be right back. So I've cut, I could find the brown leather. I couldn't find the green leather, but that's okay. And since it's white felt on the back, because I think this was from a couch cover, so it's recycled. Because a friend of mine, her husband, and I had used an old couch to make a pool table. And I'm keeping this part where it was sewn, so it's got the little bit of holes in it. And that I'm going to keep, and it's going to be on the front. And then I just cut it with the with these fabric scissors, because these are the only ones I could find. And I will use, I'm just going to cover the white part first, and then if there's more parts that I need to get, I will. I'm going to go over the strings, but not necessarily the holes, because I don't want the glue to seep down into the holes. Does that make sense? I mean, it may get into the holes when I do this part. I'm just going to spread it so that it is, and because this is lined, it should stick fairly fine. I'm just lining it up at the top and the bottom. I don't want to fold it until it's done, but I do want to make sure that that is on there straight, so I don't end up with a weird wonky, oh, this is another way. I could just take this and line it up at the bottom, and then I can see that's fairly straight enough. And I'm going to leave this to dry before I fold it. Let's see, do I need to come on the edges here and just kind of get the edges, make sure they're all down really well. This is not a journal that is going to get lace and whatnot. I might make some leather tabs. Oh, I want to get that off because this glue will dry a little on the shiny side. So you do not want that to be sticking out and glooping up too much if you can help it. Want a paper towel or something. That's what I'm looking for. So that when it goops out, and catch it. And because I got water-soluble stuff under here, you know, the glue's going to pick up that a little bit too. Oh, we're getting tissue on there. That's fun. Maybe use fabric instead of stuff that lints up, but that's okay. Just cover it with a little bit of brown ink later if I need to. So that's going to dry, and I'll show it when it's closed. And I'll do a little flip through. Did I end or not? Okay, so, oh shoot. Anyway, here's the flip through. If I already did the flip through, sorry, I don't know what happened. I thought I pressed, I hope this video is not messed up. Anyway, so here is the final flip through of this journal. I really love how it came out. It is a writing journal for my friend. So I will either mail it to her or see if I can meet up with her. See if I can meet up with, her name is Lori, when I'm up in Massachusetts and Maine. I'm probably going to stick like a journal card or a tag on here. So to flip out, writing space, and then the tag journal card will also have writing space, and just add a little bit of something. And, but yeah, I really love how this turned out. I wanted to make it large enough to have plenty of writing space, but small enough to still be able to hold in your hands. It's a little bit different shape. Yeah, so I got a couple flips here and there. I used legal size papers and just cut them to the height I wanted and had coffee dyed those. And that's how I got, you know, them to be almost as long as I needed them to be. Some are not, you know, there's a little bit of, they're not perfect, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Isn't that, just love it. And, yep, so yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know some of you are excited to see it all finished. And I know some people don't, you know, might be new to junk journaling and don't know how to add a spine. So hopefully this helped you know how to add a spine so you can use the back of notepads like I used, or food packaging, or whatever, to, you know, just get painty and make a journal. Or if you have an old book where you need to replace the spine, this works for that too. And I really do like the leather look. And, you know, you can hardly, there's a couple of bumps, but that doesn't bother me. So there it is. I hope you all have a delightful day. Love you.